Hi, I'm Tim.
And I'm Dom.
And this is Just Drink Wine.
Good night, Tim.
Wow! This is ridiculous.
Hey, what are you doing?
Well, I'm trying to sleep under this thing, aren't I?
Mate, it's still in the shrink wrap.
Yeah?
No, to get the benefits out of it, you've got to get air into the futon.
That's just like wine.
Just like wine. So, you don't get the benefits from a futon, a quilt, when it's in shrink wrap. The same way, you don't get the benefits from the wine when it's trapped away in the bottle. What we need to do is mix the wine with air to release those wonderful flavours.
So you're probably asking yourself, how do we get air into the wine? Well, we're going to show you 3 simple ways today that you can allow those flavours and aromas, all those lovely aromas,
loving them,
to come out.
So point number 1 is always try and decant your wines. Now, some people think it's enough just to take the cork out of the top of the bottle and that will be enough to let it breathe. But it isn't. What you really need to do is try and pour it into another receptacle, whether it be a specialist wine decanter like this or, you know, a cheaper version.
And it's just so simple. I mean, why wouldn't you decant your wine? It's straight up just pouring it just into a different receptacle. I'd really recommend it. It'll get lots of air into the wine.
And it pretty much improves all wines, especially red wines, to get that air into them.
That's true. A lot of people you'll sort of see and they'll say that you only need to do it to expensive wines, but I can tell you almost all wines will benefit from being decanted.
Point number 2 is your glass size. Especially when you're drinking red wines, try and use as big a glass as possible. This will really help the wine, while it's in the glass, to get as much air into it as possible, you know, even while you're waiting. And this will certainly help with point number 3.
Swirling. Now, you've probably seen a lot of people doing this. Hopefully you do it yourself. But once again, another great way to get air into the wine. What you're doing is you're releasing a lot of those flavours and those aromas. Smell those lovely aromas.
I'm picking them up.
Filling the room. Now, what you'll notice is that if you smell the wine while it's still, then give it a bit of a swirl, you'll actually pick up a lot of different characters that perhaps you didn't get the first time. So it's a really great way to get air into the wine.
Yeah, and don't worry, if you haven't been swirling your wine before, a great way to practice is by popping your glass down on the table and giving it a swirl there. Whether it be clockwise, anti-clockwise, it really doesn't matter. What are you doing?
Ooh, what I was doing then, you may have seen some people doing that as well. It's once again, it's giving more air to the wine while it's in your mouth. Makes a bit of a sound, you know, some people might be put off, but another great way to get air into the wine, and it's releasing all of those flavours while it's inside your mouth.
So the wine in the bottle is as much use as the quilt in shrink wrap. What we want to do is release the beautiful flavours within the wine by mixing it with as much air as possible.
So one of the ways you can do that is get yourself a decanter if you don't already and start using it.
Next point, we've got using as big a glass as possible, especially when you're drinking red wines. It will really help get as much air in the wine when it's on the table.
And the third point is start swirling. You will really get the benefits if you start swirling everything. Watch the plush carpet, but start swirling everything you possibly can.
I have to say, Tim, all this wine around us just makes me feel a little bit thirsty.
It's giving me a bit of a tremendous thirst, isn't it? Let's cheers.